What is up, my fellow soloists? The Soloist here. Welcome back to the Soloist community. In this video, we're looking at the top 5 best maps in Last of Us Online multiplayer. Now, this is going to be based on 3 criteria: immersive environment, overall design, and better teamwork stages. So I have my top 5 here. I'm moving it around so you guys don't actually see what it is. For those of you that play Last of Us and you love Last of Us, you already know what I'm talking about as far as the multiplayer. If you played it and don't know what the multiplayer looks like, I'm going to play a 1-minute video. It's about 45 seconds highlighting exactly what the game is. I think this was a teaser trailer to bring you back into the game. If you don't need that at all, skip the 45 seconds and we'll jump into my top 5 countdown. Coming in at number 5, we have one of my favorite maps, and I'm sure it's all of you guys, it's one of your favorite maps as well, is High School. High School is the best map when it comes to the overall storyline. And what I mean by that is this: when you think of Last of Us and you think about Supply Raid, it's the mode where you have 24 people, and the concept behind it, the idea behind it, is that the world has gone to hell. You have all these people that are either Hunter or Firefly. They're part of one of those 2 groups. They're fighting for resources within the same area, and they happen to run into each other. That's the concept behind Supply Raid. And if the world did go to hell, where's the place you would go for resources? High School would probably be one of them. So it makes sense from that point of view, which I really do appreciate. And 2, I love the overall design of it. You have the gymnasium, you have the lab, you have the school buses in the front yard, you have the chain fence or the mailed fence all the way around. You have long hallways, washrooms, all of the things that you would find in a high school. It is there, and that's what I love to see. As far as the immersive environment, as far as the overall design, High School gets a check mark for both, because it does make you feel as if you're there. Not to mention, like I said, with the gymnasium, you have it there. You have all the stands that lead up and all of it. As far as the story mode goes, this is the map in which we were fighting the I think it was the bloater, it was called, the large infected, right? And I remember playing that on Grounded on the hardest difficulty. So this stage really sticks in my mind, and it's pretty cool to actually play it online. So it gets points for all of that. The third criteria for me is it a stage in which a lot of it encourages teamwork? Because I feel like Last of Us multiplayer does a really great job of making it so that you have to win as a team. And so that's one thing I really do appreciate. And this stage does a great job for it. It has a lot of open spaces, and just as you're walking down every corridor, if you're outside, if you're inside, you always feel as if there's someone behind you. It's a great stage for shiv kills, for covert, anything covert. So cool on all fronts. It does well for all those things. But I do believe there's 4 others that place higher that are definitely better than High School. So. Coming in at number 4, it's a stage that I personally do not like. I damn near hate it, to be honest. But it's one stage I had to put on this list, or else it would have no credibility whatsoever. A stage that a lot of people love, especially if you're a sniper, and that stage is Lakeside. Lakeside is a stage that I personally don't love, but it has a lot of the great attributes that I do have and do enjoy in the Last of Us multiplayer. First and foremost, as far as the immersive environment, do I feel like is it memorable to me? Is it a stage that I feel works well for what what is supposed to be delivered, and it does an excellent job on that. This is a stage where Ellie, if you remember from the storyline, Ellie was away from Joel. She ended up getting the shotgun, beating that creepy dude that tried to rape her. All of this other stuff that was going on, crazy stuff. This is where it all went down. So it definitely has significance there. But the thing that sets it apart above all else, and why I can't keep it off here, this stage has one thing that a lot of the other stages, actually I don't think any other stage really has, except for one maybe, is interactive environment. Something that happens in the environment that really affects how the game is actually played, how that match is played. And that is the snowfall. So halfway through the match, or sometime during the match, you have this huge like snowstorm that it happens. And what happens with that is your visibility is now obstructed. So where you before were able to see from one side of the map to the other, this snowstorm stops that and really only allows you to see about like 20-25 meters in front of you, which changes the whole dynamic of the game. You have a lot of people that are camping. It really opens up the floor for covert, for more offensive tactics, sprinting, things like that. People would not be able to see you as easily, and so you're able to actually adjust your strategy accordingly. So I definitely love that part of it. With the sniping does come camping, because this is the snipers like holy grail stage. They just love to just camp everywhere and just do that. So that part I don't really like. But on the other hand, because of this, there's a whole lot of snipers, a lot of people get downed, and so you need a great team to be around you to pick each other up and move forward, as you guys, try to get the dub. It does have a lot of unnecessary areas. The docks. When you go down the docks, you can't go all the way to the last dock. And if you play, you know what I'm talking about. It's just unaccessible. They just make an invisible wall there, and you'll get stuck there. So a lot of issues like that I'm not really with, and so that's why I have it as low as I do. But definitely one of the best stages when it comes to incorporating teamwork and overall design and environmental. What the hell was I talking about? Immersive environment. Yeah, that's what it is. At number 3, we have Bookstore, the stage that makes you feel absolutely vulnerable. One of my favorite stages in The Last of Us multiplayer. The reason why I have it at number 3 is because the immersive environment, the overall design is really well done. If you've been in a library, if you've been in a large bookstore, you know that there's this eerie feeling, this feeling of vulnerability, as I mentioned, that is distinct for a place like that. When you walk into an aisle, it feels like at any point in time somebody could walk behind you or in front of you. You take a book off the shelf, they'll be on the other side, looking, basically spying on you at that point. And so that is the feel that libraries and stuff give me. Maybe that's just me, perhaps you guys understand, but imagine giving them guns and a reason to kill you. Now you got something here. And I think Naughty Dog did well by creating that sort of environment, that immersive environment, and they get a check mark for that. As far as overall design, I also believe they get a check mark as well for the fact that they have different levels. It's a two-floor complex, two-floor bookstore, and it has a lot of game plan tactics and effects because of it. One of them is when you see anyone running on the map, you'll see a red reticle and they'll either be moving towards you or away from you. But because it's 2 floors, you believe that you'll be able to see them oftentimes. But that doesn't seem to be the case because, they'll be on a floor above you or they'll be on the floor below you while you're upstairs or vice versa. And it really does change how the game is actually ran. So I know some of the teams I've been on, they've actually used that as a strategy in which they're running on one side where the team on the bottom comes around on the flank and then gets a kill that way. So definitely a lot of strategies that can be implemented. And obviously the third thing is teamwork. Does it support teamwork, and does the better team usually win? And I definitely believe the better team usually wins. This is a great stage for snipers, medics, run and gun individuals, people that like to camp a bit. There's enough there for you. And so there's a lot of things I like about the stage. One thing I do think it lacks is some sort of interactive environment. Obviously libraries are supposed to be quiet, but there's nothing else there for the environment to feel alive. I guess that's what I'm going for. So that's why I have it at number 3. At number 2, we have what many would consider to be the number 1 on this list based off what I outlined as a criteria, and I wouldn't blame you if you thought so. A stage that is oftentimes picked over any other stage, and it's great for any type of playing style, whether you are a medic, you are a sniper, you love to run and gun, anything that you like to do, this stage is perfect for it, and it's basically the final destination of Last of Us, and that stage is Checkpoint. Checkpoint is the stage in which a lot of people who get onto it love it because there's no excuses. You know, the better team usually wins in this, and this is why I have it as high as I do, because I love stages where there's no distinct advantage if you choose a sniper or you're just like a shorty or pistol only loadout. Then you're at a disadvantage if you're at Lakeside. Some of the other stages, you know, some of the same effects as well too, but Checkpoint does really well because no matter what your skill set is, you have to adapt to what is happening, and the better team usually wins, despite if the other team has a better player. It is an iconic scenery through the playthrough for The Last of Us. You remember if you were to run into the security guards when you're walking with, I can't remember the woman's name when you were Joel, the woman at the beginning of the game, if you ran into the security guard, he'd push you down and shoot you. That is something that happened to all of us. I know we've all seen memes with that as well too. So this stage here, very memorable, very iconic, but the environment is lacking, and that's my one critique with this, is that there's nothing interactive about the environment. You'll see the 1 or 2 birds fly up, but really it is kind of dull as far as making you feel like you're in a specific place. You know what I mean? I feel like it could still be just anywhere that I am. I don't feel tied to Checkpoint as I do, for instance, when I'm in Lakeside or even high school, for instance, where you're in a specific place and it feels like that and you feel like you're playing it through. Checkpoint doesn't really have that for me, so that's why I have it at number 2. So we finally got to number 1. I wonder what you guys think it is. There's so many different stages. I think there's about like 15 different stages overall. So I've already went through 4, which gives about 10 more. I wonder if you guys can guess what I believe the best stage is. To give you guys a couple of hints before I reveal it, it is the stage that if you do play online multiplayer, TLU multiplayer, that it gets picked 100% of the time over any other stage. Can you guess what it is? The Dam. The Dam is by far the best stage in The Last of Us. The reason why I have it as number 1, because it check marks every single thing that I told you guys about. So the 3 criteria I have: immersive environment gets a check, overall design gets a check, and does a better team win? Is it team-based map? Check, check, and check. It is one of the best stages on here. So here's why. As far as the immersive environment, we know already from the top, this is one of the most significant places because this is where Joel came to go see his brother. So the significance is there. It was a pretty cool area. Gets a check for that. The overall design and kind of the immersive environment and overall design here are kind of the fall hand in hand. It is the only stage that is as with that type of landscape where you can go to the dam and you can go all the way down to the bottom, and that range of height is not seen in any other stage, which is pretty cool because it adds a depth to the maps. I love this stage, especially from a teamwork perspective and overall design perspective, because when you start, either you start on one side of the bridge or the other, and based on that you can see the type of players that you have, and it's very high risk, high reward type of stage and map. So here's what I mean. When you start on the opposite sides, you have a choice at the very beginning of each match. Do you want to go to the bottom and sneak your way around? Maybe kill an extra teammate or 2. Basically, you would win the first round, as I call it, that first interaction with the other team. You can go down there and you could win that, and that'd be great for you. But you're also risking the fact that if the other team goes up, now they have a vantage point on you. You're probably going to die. You're probably going to have a hard time getting out of there. So there's that. The other thing is, if you go down and the rest of the team goes on the bridge, now you sacrifice your team because your team is probably going to get destroyed. So how do you want to play that? If your whole team goes onto the bridge, I know I'm breaking this down pretty crazy, but this is how it is actually if you play as many games as I have. Now, if your whole team ends up going to the bridge, or if only 3 of you guys go to the bridge and you guys commit to the box on the bridge, then you might be leaving someone up, to take your flank, and obviously leaving you guys vulnerable. So there's a lot of different things. Ultimately, what I'm saying to you is, in this stage, you realize very quickly that you're going to need your team to stick together to actually win the match. And this is why I love this why I love this map. As far as the environment, you have the dam, you hear obviously you hear the birds, you have the trees, the overall feel feels like you're in the wilderness, but with the water running, it adds life to the environment. Even when you go down to the very bottom of the river, you're stepping in the water, you can hear footsteps of the water, you get the supply box in the water. It feels more alive than I would say a lot of the other stages on this list, and obviously the ones that aren't on here as well too. So a lot of things that I really love about it, and yeah, I mean, I can go more and more into it, but I think you guys understand, and I think a lot of you guys agree with me that the dam definitely is one of the best, if not the best, online multiplayer stage out there. So there it is, guys. That is my top 5 best Last of Us multiplayer maps. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. But before you guys go, I do have a Discord available. You guys can click the link to that in the description. That'll bring you to my Discord channel, in which we talk about all things Last of Us, not only Last of Us multiplayer, but Last of Us Part 2, which is set to be released in February 2020. So looking forward to that. Want to build the hype, but I'd also love to talk about it and basically get my faction together, get my core group of people for when that game comes out, so we can all grow with each other as we progress in that game, and basically talk about the hype and how great this game is going to be, because we all know that. So definitely click the link in the below for that. As I said, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. THEESOLOIST. See you guys in the next one. Peace.